obviously disappointed in the end result, but just don't want to ignore that our guys played with tremendous fight today. I think from the beginning of the game, the way we rebounded the ball, uh, literally all the way through the final buzzer, and even though we got ourselves down, obviously much more than we'd like to, that's because we're playing against a really really good team. They're a legitimate top 10, Final Four, national championship caliber group out there. So credit to them for doing the things necessary. Um, though we could have defended Cryer and Flagger a little bit better early in the game, but we got that corrected for the most part in the second half, and then Bonner and Bridges jumped up and made some plays for him, and it's part of just trying to fight to live another day in this league, and so we know where we are, and our focus is on just trying to get back to the drawing board, not necessarily from scratch, but just trying to build off of what we saw tonight from an effort standpoint and execute a little bit better.
Earlier, Bryce and John Mike were talking about struggling to get out early and getting behind early, and they boiled it down to not stopping Cryer and guys like that. Is it that simple for where you guys are struggling early? Because it's been a trend the last 3 or 4 games to not get those guys early, or what?
Yeah, I mean, so every game presents a little bit of a different challenge in that regard. So tonight, yeah, it was Flagler and Cryer getting really good looks early in the game, and they really know how to play. Like they know how to get the shots that they make. In terms of they don't necessarily move at the same speed all the time. They slow down on offense, so you slow down on defense, and then they go fast again. And that's a sign of guys who really honed that skill and then they got really good screeners, guys who are bought into helping those guys get open and get shots. Though last game it was different. It wasn't necessarily those type of players. It was more pick and rolls with like a guy like Marquise Noel, and he's making plays for other people to get going. And so every game in that regard is a little bit different. So I would say, yeah, it is kind of that simple, but it's different, from opponent to opponent. Tonight we just didn't do a good enough job early enough. We did a better job late, but again, I think trying to fight from behind against a team that doesn't turn it over that much, even though we forced a couple, and makes their free throws at a really high rate, makes it not impossible, but pretty close.
Is there something you feel like you could do better early besides?
Well, I say what I tell you, I think offensively we kind of got warped a little bit. In the first possession, we got 3 really good looks, and we're 0 for 3 to start the game, and it's like, is it going to be one of those nights? And obviously the psychology of a team as you go through the season, and when you're riding high, you have a tendency to feel like, okay, we're going to figure this out. But when you go through what we've gone through for the last 2 weeks, then doubt starts to creep in. And I think that was a kind of a classic example. And then we played with a sense of desperation there late. It's not like we shot the ball incredibly well. We made a couple more, but we played with the level of fight that you like to see from your team, knowing what's at stake.
How do you use that level of fight at the end of the game moving forward to a tough matchup in Lubbock?
Well, again, you're only as good as your preparation. I say that all the time. I believe it firmly. But what I told our guys is if we're capable of playing with that type of effort, that type of competitive fire, that type of fight, then we're going to find a couple more wins here before this thing's over. Maybe it's Saturday, maybe it's next week. I don't know, But the deal is don't continue to lose yourself in the process. Don't get consumed with the fact that it's not going as well for you. And I say it, probably too much. You got to approach this thing the same way after losing 5 in a row as you do after winning 5 in a row. Now we've done both, and just try to figure out how the next day you get better, and that's what we'll do.
Like, do you feel like you guys ran the offense you wanted to in the first half and shots weren't falling? I think that's what Bryce and John Michael both kind of agreed.
Yeah, I mean, again, I try not to play-by-play this thing right now because I just can't see them all. But again, I'm sitting there feeling like it's a pretty good shot for him. That's a pretty good shot for me. And a lot of them, we're talking shots at the rim. We shot a lot of threes, but a lot of them were either off offensive rebounds or driving kicks, and some of them were after we missed 2 or 3 layups. I mean, like point blank ones that you just got to make.
You mentioned how after they missed a couple that could get in their heads. Morale-wise, overall, how do you think the team's doing after this tough stretch?
I was concerned about it on yesterday. I can't forget we just played Saturday. But the stuff comes at you fast, man. Like that's the thing about this league being as good as it is. You don't get a chance to figure it out. You got to go get ready. Again, it's a different preparation. Like you can't be focused on the K-State game yesterday. You got no shot. So I was concerned about their confidence and again, you're on a 4-game losing streak. You got the number 7 team in the country coming to your place. All right, we'll get right today. That's not something you automatically just believe. But when we went on to the floor to practice, their focus was right. They were very positive about it. Again, we don't dance around this stuff. We showed them the standings. This is where we are. This is what we've done. This is what we have in front of us. And I thought they approached it the right way. We didn't make shots early, and I thought that was more of it than them not really believing.
It's tight as things are getting here towards the end. Do you think it's difficult for them to not think big picture, tournament picture, and things like that?
It is impossible to not think about it because if you're a basketball player, then obviously that's what you think about, and you're one of the teams that people are talking about being on the line, right? So it's why I don't try to do the pretend like it's not a real thing approach because, when they leave the gym, they're talking about it, and they talk to their parents or their friends, they're talking about it. When they turn on the TV at night, if they're watching basketball, they're talking about it. So let's just talk about it in a real fashion about what's realistically in front of us. We had an opportunity against a top 10 team, would have been great, didn't get it done. Right, we still got to go to Lubbock against a team who's playing better, much better than they were when they came here a couple of weeks ago. And so if you win on that one, it's another really good win against a really quality opponent. And you give yourself, I don't want to say breathing room because you don't have much breathing room at this point, but you give yourselves an opportunity.
You mentioned earlier the missing second chance points. You guys had 22 offensive rebounds, but only 10 second chance points to show for it. Do you plan on addressing that or working on that in practice, or you just kind of mark that up as they weren't falling down tonight?
Well, there's a duality there. The 22 offensive rebounds is elite. I mean, like high level stuff. We hadn't really done that much here lately. So an encouraging thing to see us be able to do that. Because it requires effort, it requires physicality, it requires concentration, it requires focus, but you got to get more than 10 points out of it. So the flip side is, what is it? Are we not concentrating on the layup? Maybe we're getting bumped a little bit, and now we got to play through some more physicality. Maybe we should kick it out some more. But we didn't shoot great from 3, so you're dealing with a little bit of both. But so we want to encourage, they're Big 12 players on scholarship. And, we should be able to make layups with a little physicality. I mean, I saw them do it a few times, and so we should be able to do it as well.
Mike, has Keon found something in the last few games?
Yeah, I mean, this stuff's really hard for freshmen. It's really, really hard. And what you'd like to see is them not get beaten down mentally. And you do see it occasionally because it's harder than they ever imagined it would be. And they're looking around at maybe some guys that they played with in high school having more success, and maybe in a different league it looks a little bit easier or the style of play isn't as much of a grind. And you start to wonder, like, do I really want to do this every day? And he went through a moment like that probably about a month ago where he was questioning whether this was fun enough, and sometimes it's not. It's not fun. You got to show up to practice, and it's redundant. It's tedious, and we talk about the same stuff over and over again, and we watch film on the same teams. And for someone who hasn't gone through it, it's why the freshmen don't generally help winning teams a ton, especially early. You start seeing them a little bit this time of year. But I'm proud of him and our staff's ability to keep him engaged through that moment so that he can start seeing some success here as we get closer to the end of the season.
Mike, I'm sure you don't have specifics on it, but is Mosa okay?
I don't, I was encouraged that he's the one who asked to go back in the game. That's obviously a positive thing, but those things are tricky. It's an injury he's had. It's something that obviously impacted his ability to play moving forward. So I don't want to speculate. I don't know enough. I would imagine I'll meet with you guys again before we leave, and hopefully I'll have a better update for you.
Was Tyreek okay too? He was limping at one point.
Yeah, he couldn't go back, which is sprained ankle. So we'll see, But I don't have anything to report. I just have to wait till Kev gets with me tomorrow and tells me, kind of how he's feeling. We'll be off tomorrow, so I probably won't get much of a report. But before I see you guys again, I'll have probably an update on it.
What kind of spark has he been? Because he was kind of leading that offensive rebound.
Oh man, he's a beast. I mean, and obviously our team has kind of transformed multiple times over the season. And early on, he was playing a lot actually because we were basically playing those three guys together a lot. And then when Musa got hurt and Tyreek went into the lineup, truth is his production went down for 3 games when he was playing more. And so we had to start playing a little bit differently, and we inserted Woody, the whole deal. And I think he kind of refound, the way he impacts our team in a positive way by just, not worrying about getting the ball and being a scorer or whatever, but just bringing tremendous effort on the glass, being a great defender, blocking shots, being an energy guy. And you also see a guy who, as a senior year, and we don't know, I don't want to speculate about what he's going to do next year, but guys get to this time in their career, and if it is going to end, they have a little bit more urgency to try to give everything they have, even more so than they were doing before.
You mentioned changing the team multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
How hard is that?
It's not easy, but you guys know me. I'll never come in here and tell you that's the reason we lost the game. My job is to take the team that we have that day and try to beat the other team. And so whatever we have, our staff and our players have to have the ability to figure out how to get the job done. But no, it's not easy because, coming into the year, you don't think about the whole picture, but you have a plan, right? And then that plan changes and you have to adjust. And it's changed a lot of ways, so we lost our best interior defender. And then Caleb found his groove, and so obviously we're playing through him, and then Musa comes back, and he's 2 games, I think, played with Avery. Then our best perimeter defender, and that's obviously played a part in how some of these guards have been playing against us here lately. Grady and Mike Miles and Stevenson, and now tonight, not having Avery out there has been a big deal. I think people kind of dismissed it a little bit, he hasn't had the best offensive year, but that kid's a competitive warrior.
You kind of talked about the opportunities that still lie ahead. What would a win in Lubbock on Saturday do for you guys? Just momentum-wise, resume, everything.
Yeah, so I don't really, talk about momentum because I think it's only as good as you prepare, and your next game's the most important. But I think the psychology of your team, right, just winning a game again and having that feeling of finishing it. We had a lead on Saturday, didn't get the job done, and you're right there with the opportunity tonight, but you dug yourself too big of a hole. So to be able to put it all together and have somebody go up to the board and write it, all of it matters to going into next week in Kansas City feeling like, okay, we got this thing back on the right track. But I do think, not to give a long answer, I do think that our defense, other than LJ and Flagler early tonight, has been much better this week than it was last week.
Where's the frustration level at right now?
Obviously we're down and we didn't get the win. We never smile on a loss, but we played against a good Baylor team. We still keeping our heads high because we still have a lot to look forward to. We got a game in Lubbock coming up that we got to prepare for, and we just got to shake this one off and keep playing. There's still a lot of basketball left to play, and we're keeping our heads high at the moment. But it was a tough loss for us.
I know in the final 3 minutes, you hit some big shots. The offense kind of seemed to finally click after kind of being off all night. What went into that final run you guys had?
I think our defense really prepared our offense in those moments. Those last probably 7 to 8 minutes of the game, we kind of picked it up a little bit defensively, and we were able to get easier looks on offense. And we had good looks all night. We just couldn't convert. In the first half, we missed a lot of layups and open threes. So we got what we wanted. The ball just didn't go in early, but seeing it go in later in the game just gave us a little more momentum, like you said. But just got to keep trusting the system, trusting the process, and just keep getting better.
Bryce, this game was so crazy. I almost feel bad like jumping into specifics. What were your overall takeaways from today?
We just gotta, it's a good team we just played. We competed to the end. I mean, I think, we just can't really dig ourselves that hole and allow, the best players to get off early. 'Cause that's kind of what they did. And, from there they were just able to kind of have a rhythm throughout the whole game. And, it was kind of difficult to stop that. But, I mean, we lost. I mean, we played as hard as we could to the last minute, and that's pretty much it.
I know sometimes they go hand in hand. Do you feel like Baylor's defense forced you guys into some things that you didn't want to in the first half, or were you guys just missing shots?
I mean, honestly, man, I think we're just missing shots. I mean, we got a bunch of wide open threes in the first half. You know what I'm saying? So, and usually those go down, but it was pretty rough. From a 3-point land for us tonight, and that happens, and you just gotta keep going and keep working.
You mentioned can't get an early hole. That's been a problem the last 4 games or so.
Yeah.
What can you guys do differently to avoid that?
I say just locking in on their main players, because in the beginning they were just Crier and Flagger were getting pretty much everything they wanted. You know what I'm saying? So they were getting threes, they were making plays, and we just really couldn't stop them that first couple minutes, and then from there they just had the groove for the rest of the game. And I think if we just kind of cut their water off early or make them make tough shots early instead of getting easy looks, I think that'll help us with the whole.
Michael, you mentioned you got a game in Lubbock on Saturday. With as tight as things are getting, is it hard to not look at the big picture of tournament implications with these passing games?
Obviously it's always something in the back of every team's head, but we know if we want to get that done, we have to finish strong in conference play and just get ready for the tournament to come. We're not going to look past Texas Tech. They're a good team as well, so we just got to focus on that one. But it's in the back of everybody's mind, but it's nothing you can do but win now. And that's what we're going to plan on doing.
Anything can happen when you guys get to Kansas City, obviously, but how much more important does that make Saturday, do you think?
Yeah, it does. I mean, every win or every game is an important game. Just being able to beat a good team and get momentum going into the tournament would be great for us. It'll be that spark that I think we need. We lost 5 in a row, but we still believe in what we do, and we know what we're capable of. You saw it in the last couple minutes of the game. We just got to put that full stretch together, and I still believe I'll put us up against anybody.
Can one win against Texas Tech, you think, reclaim momentum and get you guys going?
I definitely think he can. I mean, we've lost a couple straight here in the last 2 weeks or so, and I think just getting that win and doing it in a great fashion, obviously on the road, I think that'll be big for us going forward.
Is there anything you guys can diagnose with shots not falling? Is it just they don't fall, or is it something you guys can do differently?
Nah, yeah, I think it just don't fall. I mean, we work on it, a ton. Those are easy catch and shoots. We do that every day in practice and on our own. So yeah, I think we just gotta make them, man. That's pretty much it.
Speaking of practice, you guys came down with 40 rebounds, 22 of which were offensive. Is that something you guys focus on in practice, or is that more just having an eye for the ball?
Yes, that's something we definitely work on. But a lot of times rebounds is kind of connected with playing hard. I think Reed did a phenomenal job today for us being that spark and getting lots of offensive and defensive rebounds. And he really helped us get a little momentum there in the first half. And just want to give a shout out to him for rebounding the way he did today.
What did you guys think of the way Q played tonight too?
I think he was good, man. He's grown into his own, man. He's figuring out, how to play, how to fit in, out there on the court, and he just got to keep growing, and he'll learn, with time, and he'll just keep developing into a good player.
Bryce, it feels like Tyreek's been that spark off the bench for you guys a few games now. What are you seeing from Tyreek?
I'm just seeing him coming off the bench, ready to play, ready to do his job. I mean, I think he excels really well at doing what he does. You know what I'm saying? And like I said today, he got a lot of rebounds, a lot of putbacks, block shots. I mean, he was everywhere for us tonight, man. He was big.
For more information, you can visit TulsaWorld.com.